I'm Christine with the YMCA in St. Cloud. Today's class is going to be common yoga poses used in class. So it's a beginner basic class. What you need is, if you have a yoga block at home, go ahead and grab that. If you don't, no problem. If you have a pillow or a towel, it'd be great to go ahead and grab that. Set those to the side right now. So the first pose we're going to do, and just to let you know, different styles of yoga sometimes have different names for the same pose. So if I remember the name, I'll give you, because some poses have like 3 different names. I will reference that too. So the first one we are going to do is extended child's pose. So especially if you do a power yoga class. Extended child's pose is your big toes to touch. Walk your knees out wide, bring your hips back towards your heels, and then walk your hands about shoulder width distance apart, and then bring your forehead down to the mat. So some modifications for this. If your head does not go down to the mat, your forehead, go ahead and grab a block or a pillow or a blanket and set it in front, and then you can rest your forehead on the block. If there's any pain or tingling in the shoulders, you can always just bend your elbows and bring your arms to your side to relax more. If it's too much of a bend on your knee, you can always take a blanket and roll it up and place it behind your knees to add more space. Okay? So those are options. So that's extended child's pose. Regular child's pose is you bring your knees to touch and you come down, hips towards your heels, and then walk, and then bring your head down towards the mat. And sometimes the option is bring your arms to your side, palms facing the ceiling, and just relaxing into your mat. Again, same modifications. You can take the block or the blanket. Another one that you'll see in yoga class is tabletop. So you want your wrists in line with your shoulders, hips in line with your knees. I always like looking at a mirror for alignment. So you don't want to be rounded, you want to try to have a neutral spine. So you're bringing those shoulder blades back, engaging your core, your gaze out the front. So this is tabletop. We're going to cycle through cow and cat. So cow is you're going to roll your shoulder blades back, tilt your hip bones up, gaze towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, you round out your spine into cat. Feeling a stretch in between your shoulder blades. So just cycling through cow and cat. And make sure that you're not rolling onto your pinkies. You want to press with that thumb pointer or middle finger. Or another option is pretend you're gripping the floor like you're taking the energy out of the floor. And another modification, if this hurts your wrist, that 90-degree angle, you can always make a fist with your hands. Same thing. Moving on, we're going to go into downward facing dog. So usually when you're in tabletop, you're just going to curl your toes under, lift your hips up, and then press them back. As you can see, I'm a little too close. So if you're taller and have a long torso, go ahead and walk your hands out a little bit further. Other than that, again, your feet are hip distance apart. And if you're really rounded and tight in the hamstrings and you're like this, go ahead and just bend your knees, tilt your hip bones up towards the ceiling. Okay? And then once you start to get a little more comfortable, you can straighten your legs. But this is going to hurt your shoulders and you're really not getting the stretch. You're putting too much pressure on your hands. So really think about pushing back, hips towards the ceiling. Okay? You don't want to roll onto those pinkies again. You want to press with that thumb pointer, middle finger, or like you're gripping the floor. So you're active with those hands. So this is downward facing dog. And then go ahead and bend your knees. Walk your hands back towards your feet. And go ahead and stand on up. We're going to do Tadasana, mountain pose. Some styles of yoga, they say this is mountain pose. In power yoga, this is just equal standing pose. So another variation of mountain pose, or if it's power yoga, mountain pose is when you bring your biceps to your ears, palms are facing each other. So your feet are either hip distance distance apart or together. You're not just relaxing your legs, so you're squeezing your hamstrings, your glutes, and your quads, I can think today. Relaxing those shoulders down and bringing your biceps towards your ears, okay? So I don't want to see shoulders up, bring them down, and you're nice and strong. So mountain pose. We're gonna come into warrior two. So a starting point is if you take your front foot, or your right foot, which I'm doing, bring it to the inside arch of your back foot. So that's your starting point. And then walk your right foot out. So you want a long enough stance when you bend your knee, it's not going over your toes. So I don't want to see knee going over your toes, so walking it out further. And if you're only bending this much, if that's all you can do, then that's fine. You don't need to be all the way down into the joint making it do the work. You want to be using your muscles and not the joints to be doing all the work. Okay, another alignment, you want that knee open. Instead of caving in, try to open as best as you can. Your hips are angled towards the top corner of your mat. Okay, so they're not straight or straight out to the side, they're kind of angled. And then you're gonna bring your arms out to a T, palms facing down. And they're not just relaxed, they're nice and strong like your warrior. So you might feel a stretch in your inner thigh, you might feel it in your hip flexor in the back leg. Again, take those shoulders and bring them down. We're not leaning forward into that front foot, you're evenly pressing through both. That's warrior two, so we'll try it on the other side. Coming back to starting position. So your left heel is in the arch of your right foot. You're gonna walk that left foot forward. I'm gonna step back so I don't have enough room. Bending that knee, again trying to keep your hips or your shoulders in line with your hips. So you're not leaning forward as you're doing it, trying to be upright. Again, keeping that hip open because it wants to come in sometimes, especially if you have tight hips. Arms out to a T. Make sure that front toe is pointed forward and not coming in. So again, this is warrior two. You're always looking over your left arm. And then go ahead and straighten your leg. Go ahead and stand on up. So that's warrior two. We're going to do reverse warrior. So you're going to come back to that warrior two position, right foot out in front, left foot behind, arms out to a T, palms facing the ground. Reverse warrior. You're going to take your back hand to your back leg, front arm towards the sky. There's no straightening of your leg. That lower body is not moving. You're just bringing that arm towards the ceiling. Again, that shoulder might come up, so try bringing it down. And you're breathing. And then go ahead and come back to warrior two. And go ahead and stand on up. We're going to switch sides. You do warrior two in the other direction, left foot forward. Knee is bent, strong with both heels. Like you're ripping a piece of paper, arms up to a T, palms facing down. So from here, we're going to reverse warrior. So back hand to your back leg, front arm towards the sky. Again, keep that shoulder down, taking your gaze towards your left hand. Again, your lower body isn't moving, it's just your upper body. So you're inhaling. And exhale back to warrior two. Go ahead and stand on up. We're switching sides. We're going to go back to that warrior two with the right foot. And we do extended side angle. So again, warrior two, knee bent, hip open, strong with that back leg, arms to a T. Again, that lower body doesn't move. You're just going to reach forward and bring your right hand to your thigh, left hand towards the sky. Palm is facing me. You gotta take that shoulder down. So this is a modification of extended side angle. Another option is to bring your hand all the way down to the floor, keeping your left hand towards the sky. Or go ahead and bring your left bicep to your ear, palm is facing the ground. It's going to really intensify the stretch on the left side. Here for 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and come back to warrior two. And go ahead and straighten your front leg. Pivot your right foot and open your left knee. We're going to go back back to warrior two on the other side now. We're going to do extended side angle. So as you inhale and exhale, extended side angle, reach forward and down with that front arm, back hand towards the sky. Again, palm is facing me, take that shoulder, bring it down. The option is stay here, or go ahead and bring your left hand down to the block or the mat, keeping your gaze towards your right hand. Or if you want to, go ahead and bring your right bicep to your ear. Palm is facing the ground, and I'm hitting the door here. We're here for 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and come back to warrior two. And then go ahead and straighten your front leg, pivot your left foot, and then go ahead and stand on up. Okay, so we did warrior two, reverse warrior, extended side angle. We'll do triangle next. So again, we're going to come back with that right foot out in front for warrior two. Again, a long enough stance so that knee is not going over your toes. Arms out to a T. As you inhale, you're going to straighten your front leg. And as you exhale, shift your hips back as you reach forward as far as you can, and then down towards the mat. Left hand towards the sky. So options, take a yoga block. Place it right next to your ankle, bringing your palm to the floor, or to the block, looking up at your left hand. Feel a nice stretch in that right leg. If you don't have a yoga block, you can always bring your hand to your shin for some modifications. On your next inhale, we're going to rise on up, and exhale, pivot your right foot. We're going to do triangle on the other side. So you're going to open your left leg, and your leg is straight. As you inhale, and exhale, triangle, shift the hips back, and then reach forward as far as you can, and then down. Again, if you have that yoga block, you can place your palm on the block, bring your right hand towards the sky, taking your gaze towards your hand. Make sure you're still engaging your core, we're not just relaxing. You can remove the yoga block, bring it to your shin, or bring it down to the mat. So you want to have a nice, long torso. We're here for 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and rise on up and pivot your left foot. So warrior two, reverse warrior, extended side angle, triangle. We did mountain pose, and we did child's pose and extended child's pose. We're going to do chair, Utkatasana. So one option is your feet are hip distance apart, and you're going to sit back onto your heels. Knees are in line with your hips. You should be able to see your toes. Your weight should be on your heels. Option 2 is your legs are together and you sit back, squeezing your inner thighs. So again, so we don't want to stick your butt out. You want to have a nice, long back, so bringing that belly button in. Weight is on those heels. You're squeezing your glutes, arms out in front. If that is too much on your shoulders, just bring your hands out in front, okay? Again, so it's not caving into the hip joint. It's using your muscles and not your joints to hold it. So we're here for 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and stand on up, shake it out. We're going to add on to that chair pose. So there's usually a standing balance section in your yoga, and one is going to be eagle. So I'm going to show you the arms first. You're going to take your right arm underneath your left, bend your elbows. Option 1 is hands on shoulder, or option 2, palms to touch. So if you have option 2, try to keep your hands away from your forehead, bring the shoulder blades back. That is eagle arms. And then go ahead and unwind. So we're going to add the legs. You'll come back into that chair pose, so you're going to sit back. Then you shift your weight into your left foot, bring your right leg over. So you're going to kickstand, float, or double wrap. Right arm underneath left, bend elbows, hands on shoulders, or palms to touch. This is kind of a thick mat that I'm doing this on. Go ahead and sink a little bit deeper, palms away from your face. We're here for 3, standing on up into, and 1. Go ahead and unwind your body, come back to standing. We'll switch sides. So go ahead and sit back into your chair pose again. This time you shift your weight into your right foot, bring your left leg over, so kickstand, float, or double wrap. Left arm underneath right, bending elbows, hands on shoulders, or palms to touch, keeping your hands away from your forehead, bring those shoulder blades back, and sink a little bit deeper. Yeah. We're here for 3. Standing on up into. And 1, go ahead and unwind. And go ahead and stand on up. We just have a couple more poses to do. We're gonna do tree pose. So you're gonna shift your weight into your left foot, kickstand your right foot, or to your shin, or to your thigh. So you're gonna grab that foot. You wanna make sure your foot is staying away from your knee, because you're strong with that standing leg. You're squeezing your glutes. Your foot and your leg are pressing up against each other. So you're trying to open the hip as best as you can, and then bringing your hands to heart center. So if you're starting out balancing, the easiest is to look somewhere on the ground. So your drishti, your gaze. And as you start to get more comfortable, you can look up towards the wall. And if you want to grow your branches, go ahead and bring your hands up and out. We're here for 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and bring your hands back to heart center. Bring your knee in front and lowering down. We'll switch sides. So you're going to shift your weight into your right foot, kickstand your left foot, or to your shin, or to your thigh. Again, opening that hip, standing up nice and tall. You're going to bring one hand to heart center, and then the other. Again, you're not caving into that hip. And go ahead and bring your hands up and out. As we're here for 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and bring your hands back to heart center. Bring your knee in front and lowering down. Go ahead and shake it out. The next pose we're going to do is a crescent lunge, or also known as a high lunge. So you're going to start at the top of your mat. Your feet are hip distance apart. You're going to step back with that right foot. The heel is off the floor. That front knee is bent. You want to make sure you're not going over your knee, over your toes. You want to pull this left hip back, right hip forward. And then you're going to bring your biceps to your ears. Palms are facing each other. Another variation is to bring that back knee down and uncurling your toes. Again, you want to pull that left hip back. So this is a low lunge. This is a high lunge, also known as crescent lunge. All 10 toes pointed forward. And go ahead and stand on up, switching sides. So feet are hip distance apart, stepping back with the left foot, right knee bent, strong with that back leg, bringing that front hip back, and then you're going to bring your biceps to your ears. You're pressing through that right heel and not the toes. If you want to, you can bring that back knee down, uncurling your toes. A nice stretch in the hip flexor, or go ahead and curl your back toes under, lifting that knee off the mat. So you're pressing through that heel, elongating. We're here for 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and stand on up. The next pose we're going to do is Warrior 3. So I'm going to do it from the side. So you're going to shift your weight into your right foot. You're going to flex your left heel. Arms are at your side, palms are facing forward. You're going to hinge at your hips like you're a pendulum. Slight bend in that standing knee so you're not locking. And keep your hips level. Arms can stay here, or out to a T, or out in front looking down at your mat. Or another option is to bring in the heart center. Here for 3, standing on up into, and 1. Go ahead and slowly stand back up. We'll switch sides. So you don't want to open that hip to the side. It's going to be a lot easier to do that, but that's not the stretch. You should be feeling it on your IT band from your knee to your hip, keeping your hip squared. So switch sides, shift your weight into your left foot, flexing your right heel, arms are at your side, palms are facing forward. Leading with your chest, hinging at your hips. Again, arms can be at your side. This mat is not very easy to balance on. Or out to a T, or out in front. Again, trying to keep the hip level and not opening, because then your leg will go up higher. But that's not the purpose of the pose. We're here for 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and bring your leg back down. The rest of the ones we're going to do are going to be seated. So you're going to do a seated forward fold. Option 1 is if you have really tight lower back or hamstrings, you can always take a blanket or a pillow and place it underneath your sit bones to tilt your hips. Your legs are out in front, feet are flexed. Again, another option is if you have really tight hamstrings, you can take that block and place them underneath your knees. As you inhale, bring your biceps to your ears. As you exhale, hinging at your hips, just straight back, and then go ahead and round out your spine, letting your head hang. This is also known as caterpillar pose in yin yoga, or staff pose. And then go ahead and rise on up. We're going to come onto your back for bridge pose. So your feet are hip distance apart. Your knees are staying in line with your hips. Arms are at your side, palms are facing down. Now as you inhale, you're going to lift your hips up. And as you exhale, press your palms into the mat. You want to pretend there's an apple between your chin and your chest and you're staring up at the ceiling. We're here for 3. Lowering your hips back down in 2. And 1, go ahead and slowly lower your hips back down. And we're going to do Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined bound angle pose. You're going to bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees open like a book. And keep your arms at your side, or bring 1 hand on heart center and 1 on your belly. And just relax into your mat. And then go ahead and bring your knees back to touch. You're going to bring them towards your chest. Go ahead and rock side to side. We're going to do happy baby pose next. So soles of your feet look up at the ceiling. You're going to grab your calf, ankles or inside arches of your feet, keeping your lower back on the mat. So if it's just as much as you can go, then that's where you're at. Just keep that lower back nice and flat. Some people like to rock side to side. Your feet down to the mat. Your knees are still bent. So the last pose we're going to do is a supine twist at the end of every yoga class. You usually do a twist before final relaxation. So basically, it's called supine twist, but there's a couple different variations. We're going to start with the most basic. You're going to bring your arms out to a T, palms facing the ceiling. And then you're just going to let your knees fall to the right or left. As you look up at the ceiling, or to your opposite hand. You want to keep your shoulders on the floor. And then coming back to center. And then bring your knees to your chest. Rock side to side, bring your spine back to neutral before you switch sides. Then go ahead and bring your feet back down onto the mat, arms back out to a T, palms facing the ceiling. And then you're gonna let your knees fall to the opposite side. And then looking towards your other arm. Shoulders on the floor. And then go ahead and bring your knees back to center. And bring them towards your chest. Again, rocking side to side. So the one-legged supine twist is you're going to keep your right knee at your chest. Send your left leg long. Left hand at your right knee. Right arm out to a T. And you're going to bring your right knee across the left side of your body. And you gaze towards your right hand. And then go ahead and come back to center. And bring your left knee towards your chest. Again, giving them a squeeze. And then we're going to switch sides, keeping your left knee at your chest. Bring your right hand to your left knee. Sending your right leg long, left hand out to a T. And then go ahead and bring your left knee across the right side of your body as you gaze towards the ceiling or towards your opposite hand. And then go ahead and bring your left knee back to center. Bring your right knee back in. And go ahead and rock side to side. I want to thank you all for watching my video. If you have any questions on any of the poses, just go ahead and rewatch the video or shoot me an email at the YMCA. I hope you guys all have a great day. Thanks.